Welcome to You Can Call Me Goddess, because you're so much more than a queen. My name is Manuk Vink. I am a trained intuitive energy healer specialized in transforming your body and your life. In this podcast, we are going to be diving into everything to unlock the goddess that you are within you. Think of it as the ultimate glow up from the inside out. It's time to unlock your power. It's time to unlock your magic. So sit back and enjoy the show. Hi guys, and welcome back to another You Can Call Me Goddess podcast. And I've been having some requests for a follow-up of the podcast of how you become magnetic and irresistible. And actually it came up with another client today. So I was like, okay, today's the day. We are going to dive a little bit deeper into this. So if you listened to the podcast about how to become magnetic and irresistible, if you haven't listened, let's start there, then go and listen to that one, and then come back to this one so that you can get a better understanding of what I am talking about. So basically I got the question, how do we tap into this confidence when we are not in our element? How do we get more, how do we feel that attractive, magnetic energy when we are not doing something that we are highly skilled of? So what we're going to be diving into today, how can you be irresistibly magnetic at every single moment, whenever you choose to turn it on, right? Whenever you choose to tap into that energy. Because we all know it, sometimes we don't have that energy. We want to feel that way, but we don't always feel that way. And if you listen to the podcast that we had previously about this, what I spoke about was there is something that makes you extremely magnetic when you're in fun energy, when you are having a passion for life, when you are doing things that you are very good at, right? So that is a very attractive energy. Think about anybody that you've been attracted to. We've all seen this as well. When a guy is doing a sport and they're very good at it, we immediately become more attracted to them. That's why, when we see a singer on stage that we already find attractive, or maybe they're not even that attractive, but seeing them do something that they're good at, that they're passionate at, that they have a mastery over, immediately turns up their sex appeal, right? Immediately makes them more attractive. And we start swooning over these people. But it almost doesn't always have anything to do with how physically attractive they are. It's just that energy that they are tapping into, that passion, that mastery, that being brilliant at something that they are tapping into. And that is what makes you irresistible. And so when you're having fun, you become irresistible. When you're skilled at something and feeling confident in a certain area, it makes you irresistible. It immediately makes you more attractive. And it's really funny because it almost doesn't matter what you're doing, but if you are good at it and if you have a passion for it, you turn on that energy, that vibe. So first thing that I want to dive into is that there is this universal law that you have everything all the time already. It's called the law. It's the law of all. So I think I got that one right. It's the law of all, where you already have everything already. You're just not always seeing it. So for example, if you feel like I am not that skilled at this or that, or I don't feel confident in anything, I want you to dive deeper. There is one area in your life where you have this confidence, where you feel brilliance, where you feel this passion, where you feel like, you are amazing, where you feel sexy in your body, where you feel amazing, where you feel magnetic. So what I want you to do is I want you to start realizing where that area is. Go deep, think about it, think of a moment where you felt that, because you recognize that feeling. So there is an area where you have felt that. And the same thing is another thing that I want you to think about. If you can perceive it in somebody else, that means you hold that yourself. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to perceive it. So if you see someone is very skilled at something and they're, for example, very creative or very artistic, the fact that you can perceive that and you can observe that in someone else and you can see that as truth means that you carry that trait within you. Maybe not in the exact same area, but somewhere else you are extremely creative, you are extremely passionate, you have a mastery skill over something, and that is the thing that you need to tap into. So if you're not doing that thing, right, how do you become magnetic? How do you become irresistible when you're not actively? So for example, I used my example, right? Where I go to the gym and I feel magnetic. I have a passion for it. I feel good because I'm confident in what I'm doing. I wear a cute outfit. So I feel good in my skin. I feel magnetic. I know what I'm doing, right? And that turns up my attraction meter, that my irresistibly meter, my meter of being irresistible and being magnetic. So what if you're not actively doing that skill? What if you're not actively taking part in that thing that makes you feel magnetic? Well, here's the kicker. You don't need to actively be doing that. You just need to be reminded of that energy, because you step into that energy when you're there. So it just turns that on. But you don't need to be doing it to turn on that switch. You just need to emotionally feel the emotions of it. So if you're feeling like you're not magnetic and you're being hard on yourself, or you're being like, you're beating yourself up, or you're not seeing your confidence, or you're being self-conscious, the way you start undoing that feeling and programming the other energy into your field is basically just in that moment reminding yourself and going back to a memory of where you were feeling that way and feeling the feelings of that memory, right? Okay, so I know probably you guys are like, okay, but sometimes that's a little bit difficult. But I want you to start with that. I want you to start with that because you felt it, you've tapped into that energy, so that energy exists, right? You know that you can feel that way, which means you decide when to tap into it or not. You have that power to tap into that energy. Nobody else does. There's not somebody else that does that for you. You step into that. I mean, right? Like, think about this. I'm going to give you a little example. If you're listening to music, I mean, I have this, right? You're walking down the street, you're listening to music. When you listen to a specific tune in your AirPods while you're walking down the street, don't you feel like you get that main character vibe, main character energy, right? You feel that turns on that energy within you. It does for me, like 100%. I mean, you feel like a badass when you're listening to this one song. You feel super sexy when you're listening to another song. Like, it turns that up. It allows you to step into that energy when you're feeling cute, when you're feeling good. It like turns that up. So that is basically what you're doing. You're finding the music that is going to get you to tap into that feeling. And you can even physically do it with music, like turn on that music, feel sexy, move around in your body, feel that magnetic energy, if that helps you. Like, we all know that motivational music, feeling sad music, like you can turn that on and get into that vibe. And then immediately you remember how to tap into that energy. So that is one of the tips. It's so funny because I always feel like that. Like, I feel like, main character vibes when I'm listening to my music and walking down the street. I'm like, yeah, I feel like the main character in my own movie right now, which I am. You're the main character in your movie. I'm the main character in my movie. So if you can tap into that energy, that is you doing it already. Okay. But that is just one thing. We spoke about fun, right? Fun energy is attractive because fun energy creates passion. It makes you passionate about something. When someone is totally in their element, which does generate fun energy, that makes someone very attractive. But maybe sometimes you're not always in your element, and that's okay. So a way to snap out of that, if you want to tap into that energy, is finding the fun in where you're at right now. And that can be very difficult. And that's where that law of all comes into play as well. Like, everything is always present all the time. Everything that you want is already present. And so that means that fun is there. The fun that you desire you're creating it. So you create everything that you desire, which means that you can create that energy. You can turn up that energy. All you need to do is change your perception. You need to just change your perception of a situation. You need to change the perception of what is going on. And this can be a little bit difficult sometimes, but it is something that's going to crack that code to tap into that fun energy. So basically, let me think of something, right? How this is going to be challenging, and it isn't always going to be challenging, and it's not going to be easy is the same thing. Saying redundant stuff right now. Anyways, nothing's ever redundant. But basically, it is going to be challenging at some times to be able to do this. But that is where you're going to be able to like shift your energy immediately. So if you're in a position where you are not feeling the fun energy and everything has to be present all the time, how can you turn the thing that you are in right now into something fun? How can you see the fun in what you are doing? If you have the ability to tap into that energy, and when you have the right tools, which, you can get the right tools to do that, you can start shifting things immediately. But if you can start tapping into fun energy in any scenario and see the good and see the fun in any scenario and why it's perfect, you can start tapping into that energy whenever you like. You can turn that switch on. You can turn that switch on. And that is just by changing your perception of a situation, of a scenario, of seeing where the fun exists or creating the fun that is there. So think of something that you find mundane. How can you infuse the fun in it? How can you make it a fun task? What could be the fun area of it that you're not exploring or you're not seeing because you're closed off to that perception or you're not tapping into that perception right now? Like, that is always, so I did say this with fitness, for example. We often feel like that's a chore, right? It's something that we need to get done. But instead, I always say, like, look at it more like an experiment. When you look at it at an experiment, it opens up like the creativity in it. And it's like, oh, instead of like, I have to do this, go into it like, oh, I wonder if I stick to this, what will come out? It becomes creative. It becomes fun. It opens up that flow instead of locking it down as something bad, as something that is a chore that you need to get done. By opening up the perception and changing the way you're looking at the task that you're creating and making it a fun task, you tap into that fun energy, and we're all capable of that. Not only that, by tapping into the fun energy in something that seems mundane to you or doesn't seem fun at all, or it seems horrible to you, but you can tap into that energy, also opens up that belief that you're creative because you're being creative with your energy, which means you are like tapping into your creativity and tapping into your fun, and creativity and fun becomes very attractive instead of like someone who's down and hating whatever they're doing, right? That immediately becomes attractive. Also, you start proving to yourself that you are creative. You start feeling more confident in that because you were able to turn something that you didn't like into something that you do enjoy. So, do you see how just because you're not doing something that makes you feel like you are in your element, you can just create that scenario for you in every single situation and circumstance by shifting your perspective, by stepping into and embodying fun, embodying that confidence, tapping into and reminding yourself of the fact that you have the ability to tap into that energy whenever you desire. And that is part of your superpower. And that makes you even more confident, right? Because it would be crazy if the only time that you were attractive was when you were doing something fun. That's just showing you what the energy is of being attractive, that it has nothing to do at the end of the day, really, truly, about what you look like, but it's about the energy that you're broadcasting out. And you decide to shift that energy. You decide to tap into that confidence by reminding yourself of a moment where you were feeling confident, by stepping into that energy, by being like, hey, listen, I am confident. I know, because I'm confident in this area of life, which means I have confidence. I'm just not tapped into it right now. For some reason, I'm not trusting the confidence in this area right now. And you're going to shift that. You can shift that perspective, or seeing even within that thing that you're not feeling confident, finding areas where you do feel confident in those areas, right? Shifting that, changing that. And we all have those capabilities. And the more you start to understand what the universe is communicating to you, how it's communicating to you, how your body's communicating to you, you can start to shift these things even faster and up level even faster, because you can shift this energy so quickly when you have the right tools. And already by doing this, start watching how things start to shift, because it is tapping back into the fact that you have full power over everything around you, which means what you're broadcasting out is what you'll get back, which leads me to the next point, right? To be found confident by others, to be found attractive by others, to, how would I say, even when it comes to like feeling romance in a relationship, or support in a relationship, or passion in a relationship, you need to be able to give it to yourself first. Because what that also broadcasts out is that you don't need anybody else to feel that way. And that is so much more attractive, because that goes back to like that needy energy, right? The more you need or want something, the more you push it away. Energetically, you're basically like turning that magnet when you want something to push the thing away. You know, where those magnets don't come together, like they can't come together. So if you switch your perspective, you turn around the magnet and suddenly you become magnetic. So you got to shift that perspective. And the only way to shift the perspective is by not needing it anymore. And one of the ways to not need it anymore is by seeing that you already have it. Because you do, and that ties in nicely again with the law of all, right? The law of all means you already have everything already. So if you're looking for what you desire, then instead of looking for what you desire, see how you have it already, and see how you can give it to yourself already. Because before you can get it from somebody else, somewhere else, and the very basic understanding of that is like, you know, we've all heard it. You can't, what is it like? You can't expect somebody to love you if you don't love yourself. Like what is that saying again? I forget. Like you have to love yourself before you love somebody else, or you start a relationship, or something along those lines. Like that's the very basic understanding of it, right? You have to give yourself the love first, which is so true, actually. And that is with everything. So I want you to think about like, what am I lacking right now in my life? Like, what am I lacking right now? What am I not giving myself right now? And that goes back to like, for example, if you're not seeing your own value, then others won't see your value. And that has been a massive game changer in my life, because when I started noticing that and actually seeing everything that I have to offer, other people started seeing that too. So you have to give it to yourself first. So if you're lacking confidence, if you're lacking like you don't feel attractive and you want other people to find you attractive and magnetic, you need to start seeing that within yourself. You need to start seeing that within yourself and giving that to yourself. So whatever you're looking for or whatever you desire, how can you give that to yourself? How do you already have it? Because that is going to be a massive game changer in in how things, because that's you turning around the magnet. You're no longer pushing it away. You're magnetizing it to you because you already have it. You already have it, which like, it's more like, think of that energy. Let me think of a good example that I can think of with this, right? Like, is it like hard? Yeah, think of it like hard to get, right? That hard to get energy is like by I don't need you type of energy because I already have what I need. So I don't need you. And that is the most magnetic energy. Like, think about it. Like, think about those people that are hard to get in those situations. You suddenly want that person more. And you suddenly like, why don't they need me? Right? Why don't they need me? Because we all want to be needed. We all want to be valued. We all want to be worthy. And when you become that person that has it all already, you become more magnetic. And then by the time you get what you want, you don't even want it anymore. And I mean, that's a whole mind fuck. But anyways, that's the power that you hold. So going like, now we're going to go a little bit like when you think of your body, right? That is always like a big one. And this is something that I deal with a lot of clients, that I've dealt with a lot myself. And it's always something that we really like seem to have an obstacle over. Because like we have this perception of how we're meant to look. And that is dictated by not us. It's dictated by the beauty industry, by social media nowadays, by all of that, right? And it's all a way to profit off of our insecurities. So if you start seeing how you're absolutely perfect, how you have everything already, how you have everything that you desire, and see how, because if there's bad in how you perceive yourself, there has to be good, because there is a balance in it all. There's always balance. So if you want to be found attractive by somebody else in whatever shape or form, like if you want to be found attractive to do business with, if you want to be found attractive to date, if you want to be found attractive to have a friendship with you, anything that you can think of, right? The attributes that you desire, you need to give to yourself first. So let's take the relationship aspect, and you looking at your body and you think that your body dictates how people perceive you, then that's how people are going to perceive you, right? So what you have to do, or what you don't have to, but what you should do if you want to be found attractive by other people and turn up that irresistibility and turn up that magnetic energy, you need to start seeing what about your body makes you so magnetic. What is so incredibly desirable about your body, right? Like, what makes your body the sexiest body on this planet? Why is your body absolutely perfect? And that goes back to that old, like that story that we all know. What you don't have, you want. So the girls with curly hair want straight hair. The girls with straight hair want curly hair. The curvy girls want to be skinny. The skinny girls want to be curvy. And if you can tap into that when you're looking in the mirror, like, see all the attributes that you carry that make your body so sexy and amazing and attractive. All the attributes that you carry as a person that make you so sexy, irresistible, and attractive. When you're looking at someone else and you're looking at them and you're thinking, I wish I had that. First of all, you have it because you can perceive it, which we discussed earlier. Second of all, now start proving to yourself how you have that. What about it makes it attractive? And in reality, when you start going down this road, you start realizing it doesn't actually have to do with the body shape. It has everything to do with how the person feels. Because if you can find someone that has your dream body, right? In your mind, your dream body, and you can see that they are not their most magnetic self, which there's proof of that, right? We've all seen that before. Someone who has an amazing body, but they don't carry that magnetic energy, which means that they don't believe that in themselves somewhere, which debunks the whole belief that when you have that body, you become magnetic. Now, the opposite scale. Look at someone who doesn't have your dream body, who in your eyes is maybe heavier or too skinny or whatever you're looking for, but is so incredibly attractive and magnetic despite that. When you can start proving to your brain these things, you can start seeing that it actually has everything to do with the energy that the person is tapping into. Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. You can turn that on. That doesn't mean, again, like I said in the previous podcast, if you are wanting to improve your body and get fitter and healthier, and you have an image of where you want your body to be, that doesn't mean you can't up level. You can always up level, you can always upgrade, but it has to be an upgrade. It shouldn't be that you're now not where you want to be and only that is going to get you where you want to be. It has to be an upgrade, which means you're already amazing. You're just upgrading. You're just up leveling. And that's the key difference. You need to see how you're already perfect. You need to see like why you are already carrying those traits and what makes you irresistible in this moment. Because if you can do that in this moment and then you upgrade, like, oh my goodness, imagine how amazing that will be. And the more you can see your perfection in this moment, the more you attract the things that you desire. And that includes the body, because you do not need it anymore. Because the only reason your body is not the shape that you desire right now or doesn't look the way that you want right now is because it is trying to communicate to you that there is an imbalance. And that could very well be in you not seeing most of the time, your full potential in an area of life, or you're blocking yourself in an area of life, which we have amazing resources on inside inside the free membership, which I link here below, on how you can start decoding that stuff. And when you can start decoding that stuff, like everything starts to shift. Everything starts to shift because it always comes down to a deeper root issue. That is what it is. That is what it is. And the uncomfortability is you recognizing that there is an imbalance and realizing that it doesn't actually come from how you look. It comes from how you carry yourself, about your energy, how you feel about yourself. So, how do you tap into that magnetic, irresistible, confident, sexy energy? You tap into that energy by seeing and recognizing that you carry that energy with you all the time. Remembering and linking to a moment where you've tapped into that energy, so that you revive that memory, so that you emotionally connect to that memory and tapping into it then. Not only that, you need to start looking at, what am I desiring right now and how can I give that to myself? How can I give that to myself? How can I already see that it exists? See that it's already around you. That is what makes you more magnetic. That is what shifts everything. You have the full power to shift these things, and you do. And when you start realizing that you carry the key to that, and that it's not outside things that are going to change that, it all comes from within, so many amazing doors are going to open for you. You're going to shift so many things, and it's absolutely magical when you realize how much power you actually hold and how much this shifts in so many ways. And looking for the external. So if now you're looking for the hobby to unlock that, then you're looking for an external thing to get you in that energy. You hold that within you. That's what I want you to realize. You hold that within you. You just using something to unlock it. And instead of doing the activity, start recognizing that you're magnetic. Start remembering that you're magnetic. Start like visualizing you in a moment where you're so extremely good and passionate about something that makes you tap into that energy. And that's what like that music does, right? It unlocks that feeling. That's why I gave that analogy. Like when you're listening to music and walking down the street and it like unlocks that energy within you because you have that energy within you. And there's just this thing that is helping you unlock and step into that energy to get you going, to get you tapping into that. And the more proof you find of these things, and the more you can start connecting to these things, and the more you can start seeing the perfection in where you're at right now and how you have everything that you desire already, and you can give whatever you're desiring more of to yourself already, the more these things start to unlock within you. And the reason that you haven't been able to do that now is just because you've been programmed to do things differently, is just because you haven't gotten the right tools to start tapping into these things. And now you're getting the right tools. And before you knock it, try it. So give it a go. It's not going to harm anyone. Just start tapping into that. See what happens. See how people change around you. Start having more fun. Start unlocking that creativity. Start seeing the perfection in where you're at right now. Start being attracted to your own life, to your own situation, to your own body, and see how people will start mirroring that behavior because you're giving that to yourself. You're unlocking that within yourself. So that starts broadcasting out, and that's going to be the new narrative around you. And it is going to do so many amazing things. It is going to do so many amazing things. I truly appreciate all of your input. So I really love when I hear from you guys what you want to hear more about, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you unlock your inner goddess. I'm here to get you tapping into your magnetic, irresistible energy, to get you your dream life, to get you your dream body, to get you your dream relationship, to get you your dream everything. And the more you guys let me know what you want to hear more about, the more we can dive into these topics. So please let me know, comment below, message me, email me. Also, if you want to dive deeper into these topics and you want to start moving faster and up leveling faster and getting to the results that you desire faster, we have amazing free resources, or you can reach out if you want to take it to the next level, because I would love to help you get to those things. But I want you to play around with this, because this is going to unlock so many things. I don't think you realize how much a little component, because we don't deem it as valuable. Having fun, sure, we deem it as valuable, but we don't see how that's going to get us to our dream body, to our dream relationship, to our dream partner. In reality, you have no idea how much unlocking that energy within is actually going to get you where you want to be. But when you truly think about it, that energy is truly magnetic, and being magnetic is what's going to draw everything that you desire in your life in, is going to make you a magnet, is going to make you irresistible. Because if people don't see the fun, then, we all want to be around that energy. We want to be around high vibe energy. So the more you unlock that within you, the more you start attracting that into your life, into your circle, and everything else that comes with it. So give it a go. I want to hear from you how it went. Did you see any changes in people's behaviors? What shifted after you started applying this into your life on a daily basis? How can you start tapping into that sexy goddess energy at any given moment? You just got to keep reconnecting and proving to yourself that you carry that within you. So have fun, play around with this, and I hope to see you in the next podcast. I think by the next podcast, we're going to be having a fun guest on the podcast. So I'm super excited about that. So stay tuned, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all so much. And yeah, thank you for being my audience, and thank you for listening. And let's keep stepping into that goddess energy. Thank you so much for listening to You Can Call Me Goddess. I am so happy that you joined us in this show today. If you feel like this podcast gave you any sort of life change or value, then share it with someone you think would also get a lot of value out of it, because maybe it could just be that one thing that changes that person's life. If you enjoyed the show, please give it a nice rating below or in the show, because we would love to expand more on topics that you enjoy and keep this podcast up and running. Anyways, thank you, beautiful, and I hope to see you in the next podcast.